Final checkup, start with the front, move to the back. Check if the axle is at the factory recommended torque. Make sure that you got your two wheel spacers on, well, one on each side. Make sure you got some air in the fork. Make sure that, well, the stem is straight, but make sure that you don't have any play in the headset. This is really important. So just lock in the front brake, rock the bike front to back. You will feel it if you got any play. It will click. You will feel something is wrong. So just if it's the case, you need to recompress the whole thing. So just loosen up the stem and top cap, rock it a little bit front to back, make sure it's sitting straight, then compress the headset with the top cap first, and once it's tight, lock the stem with the pinch bolt to the recommended torque. Move to the controls. Make sure you don't over tighten the levers and shifter. The reason is simple. If you crash, if they're a little bit loose, it will flip like this and you won't break a lever or a lever blade. Same with the shifter. Just enough so we can put it back. Same with the display. If it's too tight, you will break the bracket. Move to the suspension pivots. Now, the goal here is just to see if the bolts are tight. It's not to try to loosen them and put it back in. Just take your torque wrench and make sure that it's at the correct torque setting. In this case, this bolt is 6 nanometer. So mine is okay. I will move on to the next. Go over each and every bolt. And on the other side too. And you got one here, which is the main pivot. If you don't have your torque wrench, just take an Allen key and try to, not to break it, not to loosen up the bolt, just try to make sure you got some tension on it. If you do find a loose bolt, I recommend you to take it out, put some blue Loctite on it, and put it back in. And let it dry overnight for at least 12 hours before you go out riding. It's possible, you know, like they forgot some Loctite on it and it becomes loose, so don't take any chance. Put some blue Loctite on them. Check these two also. Make sure the axle is tight. Make sure that the disc is not rubbing. While it's on the stand or if it's upside down, go through all your gears, front to back, and you can adjust the derailleur then. You know, you got a powerful motor. Chances are you'll try full throttle, full top speed on your first ride. And if the derailleur, for any reason, is not indexed properly, you can destroy the cassette, break a chain, take out the derailleur. So make sure all the gears are working fine. Make sure the hanger is also straight. It's possible during shipping, you know, it got banged up and it's not super straight and you do need some adjustment. If for any reason the hanger is not super straight, you can, I don't have the right Allen here, but you can take an Allen wrench in it and pry the derailleur so the hanger will be straight. Then once the gears are okay, you can move to the pedals. Make sure the pedals are super tight. Make sure your chainring is tight. Then the crank arms. The bolt right here is super low tension. And the only reason that you got a bolt here is not to hold the crank arm in place. It's just so the crank arm will sit at the bottom of the spline. What's holding the crank arms to the spline is these two pinch bolts. So these needs to be tight, like 10 nanometer, around 8 to 10 nanometer. This one is like 2 nanometer. I recommend you to, if you take it out to put some Loctite on that one because it's so low torque that, you know, with time it can loosen up. So on these one I can see there's some blue Loctite. There should be some blue Loctite on that one, but if you ever take it out, don't forget to put some back on it. So that covers pretty much the whole bike. Just a quick note on the dropper. As you can see, I'm not at the bottom, maybe 1 inch. You can lift it up a little bit more, but just be careful not to rip the cable from the frame. You know, don't yank on it. If you feel a lot of tension, stop. Chances are that the cable is super tight and you can just break it. We got a video on how to fix it if you got any problems with it. So hope that helps and enjoy riding your bike.